Hey, it's Max, and today I want to talk about this ridiculous SpaceX IPO that's taken the wind out of the market. And I've been moving some coin around, um, try and get on the ground level before it comes out the gate. And as some of you may have heard, that some of the brokerages are allowing us peasants at the ground level instead of the traditional investment bankers to get in on the action. It could be that the investment bankers didn't want to hold the bag, so to speak, but seeing as how it potentially is oversubscribed by 2x, maybe more, based on this. And that could be speculative because while I was trying to get my allocation, well, here's the story. First, I went to Charles Schwab, and they had a limit of 100 grand liquid that you had to have. And I tried to shovel enough coin in there, but with my little 25 grand a pop from Wells Fargo, I guess I could have walked in there and transferred that money, but I have a limit of X amount doing it online. So instead, what I did was once that coin landed in Charles Schwab, I immediately wired it to E-Trade, which is owned by Morgan Stanley, of course. And that coin landed there same day. And I was able to put an order in of 5,000 shares. Of course, I oversubscribed because once you get your allocation or affirmation, rather, the day of the IPO, then you can actually adjust your shares. And I suspect that's probably why people think that it's oversubscribed, is because a lot of people are trying to get on the action and they probably overestimated how much they want. So the numbers on the demand side are bogative, to say the least, I would suspect. But I still think that there's going to be quite a bit of hot action on the demand side, as witnessed by some of the air that was taken out of the market here in the last few days. I think people are moving some coin around and things like that. Turns out on June 5th, they entered with Google into agreement to rent their 110,000 GPU cluster for $920 million per month from October of from October 2026 through June 2029. And it looks like there's a little bit of teeth on Google's end that they want that cluster up and running, or they will start prorate reduction of their fee. So I did a little bit of back of the napkin math. I'm looking at the payback on the hardware and the data center, and I'm starting to see why some of these data centers are hyped up, and some of the people like Mr. Wonderful have the hots for them. Because if you look at this, traditional data centers paybacks around maybe 9 months, 10 months, somewhere there. And that's with 50% overhead. So you figure a GPU like H100 costs 40 grand a piece, something like that. And then you put 50% overhead on top of that. How many months does it take you to recoup that? And in this case, I think the traditional model is roughly around 50% for the cloud model. And I don't know, there might be other margins baked in there from different operators, who knows. But as a direct operator, you start seeing shorter paybacks. Like in this case, we're looking at roughly 5 months. And so basically that translates to Google will buy that data center within 5 months. It'll pay back that $4.5 billion, whatever it costs XAI to build. So here's some more back of the napkin math. You figure upfront per GPU, just like I broke down, roughly 40,000 a piece. total hardware. And that's just, I think, hardware, by the way. I think the infrastructure and everything else is probably more. This is just rough math. So then you look at the revenue, roughly 8,300 a month revenue per GPU. Traditional CapEx, you would look at roughly half of that, 50%. So we back that out, and you got a total monthly operating overhead of 4,600,000, 9.5 months payback. Now, direct operator, it looks like we do the same math on the hardware side, 4.4 billion. Again, I'm not sure how much the actual infrastructure costs, etc. And then looking at the operating cost per GPU, it's roughly $200 a month. And that's in power and like administration and stuff. I'm not sure if these numbers are accurate or not. Again, I'm not in the business. This is just speculation. So it looks like their operating overheads roughly 22 million a month, and that leaves them a net profit of roughly 8,163 per month. I don't know. Anyways, that breaks down to about 4.9 months. So again, it looks like Google will pay off this data center in roughly half a year, which is a good bet, I would say. But that's just that component of the SpaceX business. And again, the valuation is still high. We're looking at, let me see here, traditional price to sales on Tesla, if we're looking at Elon Musk, was 22 to 25 at the top end multiple of the price to sale. And the current is obviously 14 to 15. And if we look at the valuation on the SpaceX deal, with the mania and whatnot, the base is going to be probably 35, maybe less. Then it's, that's sort of optimistic, I think. So we're looking at 200 a share. And a conservative, and that's at 25. That's when Tesla was at 25x price to sale. So we're still looking at less than what the IPO would be. So they're really trying to maximize the shareholder extraction in this case, I would say. And let's just say I suspect they're probably trying to make a bunch of baggies. I'm kind of a little pleased that S&P and whatever index kind of backed up on the acceleration of their including them in the index, which would have kind of set a precedent for other companies to do something similar. And it would just be, I think it would make the market really wonky, and it wouldn't be good for retirees and things like that. It would just become a way to fleece your average working Americans. So, yes, I'm still going to try and play a little bit of this. I will probably not hold this long term. I mean, I got to be honest. Looking at something like Cerebras with the recent IPO, they popped real good on their first day, and the peak was around 3 to 4 hours into the trading session, and by the end of the day, it blew off steam. I think the hype and the mania wore down, the sentiment, so to speak, and I think I see this hype and mania. It's kind of like a Pokemon Labubu trending, gambling type of attitude with the markets. And if you're looking at things like the Buffett indicator and some of the other ones that are out there, you're probably starting to see similar signs like I am as far as what's going on in the market. But there's no reason not to try to capture some of these gains, because just like the manias and the console scalping and things like that, when people are lining up just to flip them, and you could see that continuing here. And again, there's no reason not to try and make a quick buck, because I think if what I'm thinking is what the rest of the people are thinking, and the rest of the people, and I'm thinking like the rest of the people are thinking, and so I do think there will be a pop, and eventually gravity will take hold, and things will level out. But the first day or two might be a little crazy, and I suspect there may even be some market halts. We'll see. Anyways, I'm Max. I just decided to make this just for fun. Maybe I'll make some more videos. I don't know. Hit me up in the comments. What do you think about this whole ordeal? And are you going to participate or not?